I always feel a little responsible for when, especially that first reading is extra long, or when it has a lot of complicated names, that I feel kind of responsible for the reader. Boy, you plowed all the way through. I should probably preach on that just, because you did such a good job. And this is a tricky one because it's a great passage, but it feels a little self-serving, saying how awesome David is. That's a sermon joke. Last week I was waiting for that one. Okay. There is something that is really fantastic about this passage that we start the day off with from 1 Samuel. But it's something that ought to be very sobering as well. So, last week we had the petulant teenager response from Israel saying, I want a king, I want a king, I want to be like all the other countries. And they're really rejecting God as their king. Samuel sort of takes it personally, and God tells Samuel, no. They've not rejected you as the prophet of the Lord, they're rejecting me, because they want an earthly king, so they can be like all the other countries around them. That is not my plan for them, but I will give them what they asked for. You're not going to like it. And they didn't. Because that king was Saul. And Saul was big and strong and handsome and a fantastic warrior. And you would look at Saul and say, whoa, kingly. Except he was just kind of not a great guy. And he was the sort of guy that under pressure, he didn't get stronger like a diamond. Under pressure, he cracked and he broke. So Saul causes all sorts of problems for Israel because they asked prematurely for an earthly king. God had someone in mind. Someone who would not only lead Israel in the way that the Lord desired Israel to be led, but through his family, the Messiah, Jesus himself, would one day be born, and that guy's David. But the impatience of Israel, no, we want him now, we want a king. Well, they set themselves up for a generation of failure and a generation of hardship. If they had only waited, how different would things have gone for them? We have no idea. But now, in this passage, we see that the Lord is finally going to have Samuel anoint who his true chosen one of Israel is to be. The king that God desires Israel to have. And it's a great passage where Samuel is told, you're going to go to Jesse's house, and Jesse's got sons, the king is going to be there. And so Samuel shows up, and, the first son, Eliab, he's big and tall and strong and strapping and kingly, like Saul. Nope, not him. What about the next guy? Nope, not him. The next guy? Nope, not him. Nope, not him. Nope, not him. Nope. 7 times. Nope, not him. And Samuel's got to be frustrated at this point, if not perplexed. Because, God, what in the world are you looking for? You have 7 perfectly good candidates. I don't get it. But that's all of them. So, now what am I supposed to do? And so he has to actually ask Jesse, any chance there's another one? Like, did you hide one? Is he in your pocket? Is he next door? Do you have one more? Because there's supposed to be a king, and none of these guys are in. Well, there's the little one. We don't even let him inside sometimes. So they have to bring David out from the field, and bam, that's the one. That's the one. The one that no one was expecting, the one that nobody was counting on, the one that everyone had sort of ignored or forgotten. He wasn't even invited in when the mighty prophet came to visit the family. Just go do your chores. Go on, shoot. But he's the one. And this really awesome phrase that we believe, not just in the context of the David story, but we kind of trust in just sort of a practical sense within our lives. That the Lord doesn't look at the things that people look at, that the Lord looks at the heart. And we trust that the Lord, who is omnipotent, who is almighty, who is all-knowing, omniscient, that he sees things that other people don't. And if we don't look particularly special or important or kingly to the outside world, but the Lord looks in our heart and sees something worth loving. The Lord looks in our heart and sees something worth saving. The Lord looks in our heart and sees something worth the death of his own Son. And so we trust that and we hope in that. And it is a great passage, but it also should fill us with a little bit of trepidation. Because the Lord sees on the inside. And all of a sudden, I mean, we could be encouraged like, yeah, he really knows me. And you know, I'm like kind of a great guy. And I'm not the, you know, people think that I'm like this, but really on the inside, I'm like that. Okay. But that means he sees the bad stuff too. He sees the stuff inside of us that we don't want anyone to know about. He sees the stuff inside of us that we don't even like to think about. He sees the stuff inside of us that we have tried to cram down deep inside or hide deep in a closet or throw away somewhere, but he sees it all. He doesn't just see the nice, polite, happy visage we give to everyone else. He doesn't just see the ways that we try to stay put together and in control when we're in front of people. He even sees the inside stuff that we think nobody else knows about. That's the sobering part. And we've got stuff on the inside of us that we are kind of secretly proud of, and we have stuff on the inside of us that we are secretly and maybe even desperately ashamed of. God sees it all. No hiding. From whom no secrets are hid. We even prayed that at the very beginning of the service, and it's true. So, this is an encouraging statement, but it is also sobering that the Lord sees us and knows us. Really, 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 really knows us on the outside and on the inside. And he who sees it on the inside, well, that's how we're judged. For good or for bad. That is how we're judged. Encouraging and sobering all at once. I think this is a fine statement for Father's Day. It's encouraging and it's sobering. To be a father, to be a dad. Some of that stuff is on the outside. You know, some of it is the way that we comport ourselves. Some of it is the way in which we are showing and demonstrating godly leadership of families and of others and raising children and all that kind of stuff. But so much of it is on the inside. It's character, it's integrity, it's faithfulness, it's all the sort of stuff you can't necessarily see by looking at someone, or at least not looking at them for just a moment. You have to really know them, you have to really be around them. That is why fatherhood is both a qualitative and quantitative issue. Good fathers do good things for children, but they are also there. You know, because we need dads around. Kids need mothers, kids need fathers, and they need ones who will demonstrate virtue and who will protect them and provide for them, but ones who are also dependable and ones who are there for them. And so the Lord sees on the outside, he sees on the inside. Fatherhood is expressed in not only the lives of the fathers, but in the lives of the children. And the stuff that we do that nobody else realizes or nobody else knows, or we don't even pay attention to, but you know, kids were watching. They learn something. Sometimes it's the stuff we're really glad they learned. Man, I never even made a deal about that, but they're doing it. And I'm so happy for that. And sometimes it's the stuff that, oh no. Did they really hear that? Oh my God. So, encouraging, but sobering. Like Jesus' parable about the kingdom of heaven, it was the responsibility of the farmer to simply sow the seed. And then it begins to grow. And it grows sort of on its own until it's time for harvest. The kids, you sow the seed, you do what you can, but then they grow. And they grow in ways that can be quite mysterious. They get tall on you. And they get big. And some of them even get bigger and taller than you are. You don't really know how. But I think it is significant to take the time and not only give thanks for the gift of fatherhood on a kind of a holiday sense, but to take time with the church, to do so as well. Okay, fathers in media are mean or stupid. That's kind of the general, watch a sitcom. The dad is either yelling or the dad is a doofus who doesn't know how to do anything right. And the church, I think, can act as a counterbalance, and whether it's effective or not, we still should, because we need to tell the truth about fatherhood like we need to tell the truth about everything. And if there is a number 2 metaphor for the nature of God in all the Bible, number 2, in frequency, in power, in illustration, that number 2 metaphor is shepherd. David himself, remember, he was out with sheep. He's out with the sheep. The little shepherd boy David, and it will influence many of the Psalms. It will influence the way that he sees himself as the king of Israel. It will influence the ways that he sees God leading his own people, like a shepherd. And we see that Old Testament and New. We see it all over the place. Jesus himself is the good shepherd, but that's metaphor number 2. What's number 1? Father. Father. Okay? It's so much, it's so prevalent, it's so significant that it really even outstrips the concept of metaphor, because God says, this is my name. This is my name. You will know me as the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You will know that forever. You will know me as I have revealed myself to you as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Jesus himself says, we get to call him Abba, Father. So the concept of fatherhood is significant in Scripture because it is significant to God, therefore it must be significant to us. Does that mean fathers are perfect? Of course not. Does that mean that fathers are the best? It is to say, however, as I have done in the past, that we need to understand the metaphor rightly. Okay, Karl Barth, the German theologian from the early 20th century, did a fantastic job of explaining this in a way that I think has practical relevance. Okay? So he says that there are metaphors from above and metaphors from below when we start talking about God. When we say a metaphor from below, it's like, that's where God is like something that we know. Okay, when we say God is like a mighty rock, we've seen big rocks before, right? And they're large and they're heavy and they're strong and you can beat on them and they don't do anything, and you can stand on them and you can feel very solid. So we know what rocks are. When we say God is like a mighty rock, we say God is like a door. Jesus, I am the door. So, okay, that's a metaphor from below because we know what doors are. Doors open and it lets you come in. Doors are an entryway. We want to get into the kingdom of heaven, and we go through Jesus. That is a metaphor from below. He says when we start talking about fatherhood, that is a metaphor from above. We don't know what fatherhood is until we know God, because the whole concept of father is found in the nature of God. So when we talk about human, biological male parents, and we call them fathers, it's because in some way they remind us of the nature of God. Which dads ought to do. We ought to be protective and provider, and we ought to be caring, and we ought to be strong, and we ought to shepherd our kids, and we ought to do the sort of things that God Almighty does for us. We do imperfectly. We do it on a small scale. We do it in human terms, good, bad, and indifferent. But when a man is doing what he ought to do by his family, he is rightly called father because he is acting like God acts towards us. And when he doesn't act that way, when fathers abandon their children, when fathers hate their children, when fathers are lousy examples, then they are not being like a father because they're not being like God. You follow the concept, metaphors from below, what we understand, metaphors from above, who God is and us applying it to earthly things. So it becomes important that the people that we call father look like God, act like God, love like God. Again, imperfectly, small ways, human ways. We're going to continue to screw up. And, I'm all over that. Trust me. Trust me. I've only got 5 people who call me daddy, but I've got hundreds who call me father. It is both encouraging, but it is also very sobering. Because I need to be like God. I need to be like God to those 5 who look to me and depend on me. And I need to be like God to those hundreds who look to me and depend on me in a different way. Don't start calling me Dad. 5's enough. But, it's been a long time, really, since I started here. But one of the things that happened when I first got here is people were asking, well, what should I call you? And, I said a lot of people call me Father David, but, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll answer to a lot of things. Dave, David, hey you, and that guy. That's all fine. Doesn't bother me a bit. But one of the things that I learned from someone else was the title that you call someone else by, Mr., Doctor, Father, Reverend, whatever, says less about that person than it does about you. Where's your heart? Where's your relationship? Where's your focus? And allowing other people the opportunity to refer to me as Father David. It's not so much an ego-stroking thing like, oh, everyone thinks that I'm their dad. No, because again, that's weird. 5's enough. But an opportunity for others to hopefully be blessed that there's someone that they can count on. There's somebody they can depend on. There's someone who is going to do his level best to love and lead and serve them as God does. And that is encouraging, but it's also very sobering. Because, I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to be a bad dad. I don't want to be a non-father because I started saying things or doing things or treating people in a way that God would not. That's my comparison. That's my standard. And it is a lofty one that I cannot meet. And so only by the grace of God do I even try. So I started thinking about these things as I am considering Father's Day. And that it's important for the church to tell the truth about fatherhood, because if we don't, we will. And so I started thinking about fathers who made a difference to me, and I want to talk about that for a moment to kind of maybe give you the chance to think about fathers who have made a difference to you. So I think first and foremost about my own dad. And in my dad, I learned fatherhood, the nature of God, in someone who is dependable and strong. Someone who loved us. My dad was overt in expressing love. He said, I love you constantly. And for a guy who was kind of a burly bear of the force of nature, you wouldn't think he would be so soft and squishy. But he was. Because he said, I love you constantly. And he was the sort of guy who would say it and he would show it. He would work 2 or 3 jobs if he had to provide for us. Because he never got a birthday and Christmas meant nothing in his family. He absolutely and positively insisted that birthdays would make people special in our family and Christmas would be a big deal. I learned that from him. How to say it and how to show it. That speaking the words makes a difference. But so does putting your money where your mouth is. Be the guy who demonstrates love in what you say and in who you are and what you do. Be dependable, be strong, provide and care, and make sure every day that your kids know, overtly as well as concretely, that they are loved. I think about my grandfather. I think about my grandfather. Not a showy guy. He was, I always kind of considered him sort of small and sort of bald, and a guy who liked puns, which is probably the lowest form of humor. I think of him, sitting in that big cushy chair doing crossword puzzles. But I learned from him a sort of strength in fatherhood, raising 5 kids, doing so in the 50s and in the 60s. The sort of guy who you just knew you could count on, and who could just be there, and who could do it, and who was rock solid no matter what. What you saw is what you got. Ralph was just Ralph. For good, bad, or indifferent, when the ways that you said those dumb puns and he annoyed you, or those ways that he was there for you when you needed him, that's how he was 24 hours a day. There was no secret Ralph who, in the company of others, would stop saying puns, or he would act differently. He was just true blue all the way through. I learned in him a strength and a courage that it doesn't have to be this big overt thing. But here was this guy who, again, worked a number of jobs to provide for his family. But a guy, after he retired from the post office, he was a mailman for many years. He just decided to keep on walking. He would walk everywhere. He started having these walking buddies in the neighborhood who would walk with him. And then, in his 70s, was in a horrific car accident where the steering wheel actually crushed his chest. And the man survived. And the doctor said he could have been 30 years younger and it would have killed him. But in his 30 years, his body was so strong because he walked all the time that he was able to survive even that. We just saw him as, oh, Grandpa, you know, just yesterday. Somebody had found an old file somewhere, scanned it, and sent it to the rest of the family, and it was a very, very old Christmas card that he had written and sent to someone, and on the top of it was the picture of a plane. But instantly, we all knew what it was. He had sent this Christmas card probably in 1944. And that plane was the glider he had trained on. This guy that we just sort of saw as a, you know, kind of everyday, he's a mailman. He had trained as a glider pilot in World War II. These were the guys who were going to be launched in an unpowered vehicle across enemy lines with supplies and with things so that when the army advanced, there'd be something waiting for them. Glider pilots were considered such a breed apart that on their wings, unlike everyone else's wings in the entire Army Air Corps, it had a G in the middle of it. G for glider, but those pilots used to say it meant G for guts, because nobody else would do a job like that. Now, he always calls it a G for Golding, because that was his last name. But again, he liked the puns. I think of fathers like Father Risner, my priest growing up. I only had one priest growing up. He was there before I was born. He baptized me. He didn't leave until after I left for college. When I think about the nature of pastoral ministry, I think about Father Risner. He was my example. That's what I know church is like. That's what I know what being a priest or a pastor is like. Someone who was gentle, someone who was kind, someone that you could depend on in a way that wasn't based off of just emotion, but this dependability, this stability. He was just always there, and he was a priest 24 hours a day. Now, I'm on the other side of things, and I know that it can be easy for a priest to act one way here and in a different way out there. You know, you get some of us in different circumstances, and we start acting different and talking different, and Father Risner never did. He showed me you are a priest all the time. You are a priest every day. You are to love these people like God, to be a wholesome example, to be a godly servant, no matter where you are, no matter what you're wearing, no matter what the context is. And that made a difference to me. Now, he wore his collar, we're pretty sure, 24 hours a day, which I don't do. We used to joke that we'd never seen him without it, and we thought maybe he showered in it, and we were pretty sure he wore it to the beach. We also saw that he kept calling people friend a lot. And like that was just one of his things. He would call you friend. And we thought, I mean, that's sort of a weird thing to say. And it was only years after the fact that I heard from him. It's because when he was a younger man, he had an anger problem. But being a priest, he knew he had to be under control. He needed to have the self-restraint, the self-control to treat everyone as God would treat them and not let his natural propensity to snap at people to affect their spirits. So he started to train himself that whenever he got mad at someone, he would call them friend. So I think back to all those years where I got called friend, and I was like, oh, he loves me. Like, he wanted to punch me. But it demonstrated to me fatherhood is self-control. Fatherhood as the sort of integrity where it doesn't matter what context you're in. You are who you are. You act the way that you act. You love the way that you love. It's not a put-on. You know, it's not an act. It's not something that you just do when people are looking at you in a particular circumstance, but it ought to go through and through and be evident at 2 o'clock in the morning. It ought to be evident at home. It ought to be evident in a small group or just hanging out. It ought to be there all the time. I think about other fathers. I think about Father Jake and him teaching me a devotional quality that I had always dismissed, but became very precious to me. I think about Father Guy, who taught me academic excellence, who taught me how we can use all that God has given us, body, mind, soul, and strength, for His glory, because we have been built for a purpose. God had made us for a reason, and that reason was going to come out from my own ordination. I think about these fathers, some who were ordained and some who were just guys, but the example that they set, the difference that they made, even when it wasn't a difference to me, I look at the way that they treated their own children, or they treated their neighborhood, or they brought in people who just treat them like a dad. They were not their biological father, but people look and count on them as though they were. And the difference that that makes to me, because that's the sort of dad I want to be. It's the sort of father I want to be. It's the sort of priest I want to be. That's fatherhood because it looks like God. That's fatherhood because it loves like God. That's fatherhood because there's something in the heart and the character and the quality that is like the very nature, the very essence, the very identity of God. Does that mean that fathers are the best thing in the world? I mean, I'll let you draw your own conclusions. It is simply to say, though, that the charge given to fathers, the charge given to dads, is a heavy one and an awesome one. It ought to be encouraging and it ought to be sobering, because God looks at dads and says, love them like I do. I mean, in a sense, that's the way that Jesus wants all of us to act as His disciples. You know, Monday, Thursday, love one another as I have loved you. So it's not unique to dads that we ought to be loving people like Jesus does. But in fatherhood, we take on kind of a different sort of committed responsibility to say, what I do, who I am, how I act, inside and out, every day, it can make a difference in a big way. For good or for bad. And when it is good, I am being a father, because I am loving and acting like God, our Father, does. And when it's for bad, I am not, and I am falling short. That title in that moment does not reflect me. It's encouraging, but it's sobering about who we ought to be and how we ought to act. I can't tell you to be grateful for your own dad. I don't know. With 100-something people around, we've got 100-something different stories, and some dads have been there and some dads have not, and some dads have been very godly and like the sort of father that God is, and some have fallen very, very, very short in ways that are very painful, in ways that are very sorrowful. I'm not going to say that all dads are awesome and great. I will say, though, that when they fall short, we're not being like dads. Remember that. Remember that. Don't let an earthly father break your concept of God the Father. It's so easy to do, but remember, when you do that, you've got the metaphor backwards. You don't look at God and say, He's like my earthly dad. You look at God and say, I want my dad to be like Him, because that's when He's being a father. Okay? That's so important. It's so important because it's so easy to have your own faith affected negatively, to be broken by the brokenness of humanity. There is no earthly dad who will be right 100% of the time. There is no earthly dad who has not screwed up, messed up, or failed to live up to the high calling of God the Father. But be encouraged that even when we don't have a father like that on earth, we have one in heaven who will not let you down. He will not break your heart. He will not abandon you. He will never leave you. And He will never, ever, ever do anything other than love you with an almighty and an all-powerful and a transforming, gracious love. Us dads, we need to be doing that every day, all day long, throughout the week. To those of you who are not dads, or I guess us dads too, when humanity falls short, when dads fail, you are never alone. Look to your Heavenly Father, and you will see in Him the perfection of love, the epitome of fatherhood, and the essence of being a dad. Be encouraged. Be sobered. And be thankful and be grateful. For God has blessed this world with the gift of fatherhood, and with us dads, a holy and a godly challenge. But fundamentally, God has been our Father in love and in grace and will be forever, no matter what.